Hello and welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. I'm James, and over there's Fraser. How are you, Fraser?
I'm okay. Yeah, we were just saying off air. I'm tired. You're tired. It's been a long week working
Has been a
hard.
long week. Has been a long week
Yeah.
this week. I forgot my little intro thing. I can't remember what I said now. It was so long ago. So yeah, I'm super tired today. So we'll just rattle through this one. I think get it done.
Yeah. Listeners will be
So
delighted.
yeah, I know. Yeah. This week we're going to talk about black-eyed children. You ever heard of them before?
Black-eyed children,
Yeah.
like pandas.
No, children with like black eyes.
No,
No. Okay.
no.
So
We're
it's like
talking like eyeballs, like
yeah.
irises, not
Yeah,
like they've been
that's right.
punched.
No,
Okay.
just like yeah. So black-eyed children. I didn't get any pictures, but you just imagine like me, but with just black eyes. Like
Yeah.
my eyeballs. So in the shadowy realms of modern folklore and paranormal mystery, a few occurrences have captured the public imagination quite like the black-eyed children. Now, what's going to happen here is while I read this, I'm just going to at some point I'm going to say the black-eyed peas, but what I actually mean is the black-eyed children. Just because I don't even like that black-eyed peas, I never have, but I just know that that's going to happen. So black-eyed children is what we're talking about, not the black-eyed peas. Described as eerie young individuals, so children or adolescents, with completely black eyes, devoid of irises, like you said. These figures have been reported across various regions since the late 20th century. Their chilling behaviour, characterised by unnerving and an unnerving insistence to be let inside homes, vehicles, or other private spaces, has generated both fear and fascination.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Black-Eyed Children is unique in that it blends elements of urban legend, cryptid lore, and paranormal mystery. Witnesses describe encounters that are startlingly consistent yet puzzling, often leaving a lingering sense of dread and confusion when they meet these kids. These stories have spread like wildfire across the internet, or they have done in the past, on forums like Reddit and podcasts like this one, documentaries, which have sparked debates about the actual origins of the stories themselves. So today we're going to explore those stories and where they came from, and are black-eyed children actually real?
Cool. So can I ask? So these are children that don't belong to anyone. This isn't like people that's got kids that have got a condition that have got black eyes and.
No, we don't know.
These are like
they just turn up, as we'll see.
right. So they're like mysterious children that
yeah
the streets. Cool.
That's it. Yeah, so they're just around, and they'll knock on your door and say, "Can we come in?"
It reminds me of like the children of the corn or something. These
a bit similar to that. Yeah, just weird kids. Kids are creepy, aren't they? Really, they can be creepy,
especially when you give them names like Malachi and Damien and stuff.
Malachi, yeah, or colouring the crayons. They're always creepy with crayons, aren't they?
Yeah,
or fucking weird pictures and that.
What's you dying? Oh.
Yeah, that's me stabbing mummy in her sleep. Like, whoa. So the exact origins of the black-eyed children, it's difficult to pinpoint, to be honest. There's been similar descriptions of black-eyed figures sporadically through folklore, but in modern cultures, the contemporary black-eyed children can probably be traced to around about sort of the early 1990s. One of the earliest documented encounters was reported by a journalist and paranormal researcher, John Keel, who became famous for investigating unexplained phenomena. Keel mentioned cases where children with completely black eyes appeared and requested entry into vehicles or homes, only to invoke intense fear in witnesses.
Sorry, so this is recent. This is like 1990s onwards.
Yeah. So it's not
this isn't something from like the 30s or anything. It's like
no, it's a recent thing. So, like I say, there's been stories of animals and weird things through folklore with just black eyes.
Yeah.
But the actual black-eyed children, the stories have only sort of come to light really in the 90s to start with. That's where we think we can trace it back to. There might have been other stories, but I suppose the 90s is when information became more readily available, particularly with like the internet and things like that. The story that most propelled the Black-Eyed Children into notoriety, emerged in 1996 when a man named Brian Bethel recounted his encounter on a South Texas highway. I mean, we'll go on to this as well, but Bethel described two children with pitch black eyes knocking on his car window at night. So he was just sat in his car and then he gets a knock on the window. And the kids are asking him for a lift. So can we get in your car? Bethel said he felt paralyzed with fear. And he just said, no, he just flat out refused to let them in his car. After a while, the kids consistently sort of kept asking him, please, we just need a ride. Can you just let us in? But Bethel just flat out, no, I don't want you in my car. So the kids eventually gave up, sort of walked away, and it says they vanished, but they didn't vanish like in a cloud of smoke. They just kind of sort of walked off and never seen again.
Right.
So his story was shared online and on forums, and it quickly spread. And obviously, stories like this do attract interest, and this basically exploded on these internet forums and then people started sort of giving their own versions of coming across these kids. As we were saying, so before these modern accounts in the early 90s, folklore across cultures has long included tales of shadowy children and childlike entities with disturbing features. For example, in Europe, legends describe like fairy children who replace like these human babies. I think they're called changelings.
Right.
That's how you say it. So this folklore where there's like you'd have a baby, but this weird fairy thing would come in and replace itself with the baby, and you'd end up bringing up this fairy child. Weird, I know, but so it's not identical to the Black-Eyed Children, but I think this is kind of like just eat it or something. I don't know. throw it in the river. So it's not exactly the same, really, but I think that the idea of like creepy kids is kind of spooky, isn't it? Like we were saying, like it's children of the corn or whatever.
Yeah, there's like I don't know, they're slightly more sinister when they're creepy, aren't they? Mara has these like night terrors, and sometimes she'll walk into our room just staring dead ahead, and you can wave your hands in front of her eyes, you can shake her, and everything, you get nothing out of her, just this like cold, like dead stare, and it's frightening, you know. And sometimes she'll start like wailing and stuff, and like wake up, and she'll wake up and she'll go, what's going on?
So yeah, kids can be super creepy. Like I think that's why people sort of latched onto this story. It's not always sort of little kids, it's I think the age range is between sort of like 6 and 16, say, approximately. So it's not always like really small children. It can be sort of like teenagers. So there's description of the Black-Eyed Children. So there's been quite a few other stories which we'll go on to shortly. But there is a striking consistency with witnesses that have come across these things or whatever they are. Everything seems to sort of align with the same sort of dead pitch black eyes and this feeling of dread, and the kids are trying to get into where you are. So so they're the distinctive sort of physical features. The eyes, the age and appearance, as I say, about 6 to 16. The facial expressions, witnesses frequently report that Black-Eyed Children's faces are eerily emotionless. Sometimes described as expressionless or sinisterly calm. Kids sometimes you don't really get kids who are just sort of like deadpan, do you? They've always got stuff going on in their head. Yeah. So like it's never know, but these things do. Some other accounts mention like just sort of anomalies, weird things like slightly elongated limbs, an unnatural sort of sense that the presence distorts the environment subtly. This is sort of like everything seems a bit weird, like maybe a drop in the temperature,
Right.
or sounds nearby sort of quieting. If the birds are in the trees, well, everything's just sort of like tunnel vision.
Yeah. Like, do you ever hold a magnet to the side of a telly? Things all
it goes all
a
like
bit
purple
wobbly and weird.
Yeah. It's just like a bit like.
I can't do that anymore. That was like an old telly thing. That.
I did see something the other day online, and it was this guy who's like, I used to love it when my telly was furry.
Furry?
You must get that. If you don't get, well, the static on the front of the telly.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah. You used to be able to like touch the telly and touch someone.
Yeah, just give them a little shock. Right, okay. So you can see there we've got a little picture for those who are watching on YouTube. So that's what they look like. Not exactly like I said. I think that one looks a bit cute. I always imagine they'd look a bit more sinister than that. I think he's too clean.
Yeah.
But you get the gist. Anyway, that's if that kid knocked on your door, you would shit yourself, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got common behavioural traits. Like I mentioned, they approach the person and communicate. They often appear at night or during twilight hours. They approach people's vehicles, homes, or even sometimes people's workplaces. They're asked to be let inside or requesting for help. The speech is typically polite but unnerving. It's calm and quiet and sometimes monotone, a bit like mine at the moment. I'm super tired, that's why.
Sorry, James. There's a Simpsons, isn't there, where they go and watch it's called like the Bloodening or something. It's these kids that are like, we know all your stories and stuff.
I don't think I've seen that one.
No.
Is it one of the later ones? I stopped watching it.
Season 8 or something like that, but it's they have a curfew on the kids
right.
at night. But yeah, anyway.
Another common behavioural trait is persistence or insistence. It's the insistence on being allowed entry. Witnesses report feeling inexplicably feeling an inexplicable compulsion or pressure to comply, often battling with intense fear while simultaneously struggling against this urge to let them in.
Oh dear.
There's also avoidance of direct eye contact. So despite their striking eyes, many witnesses report that black-eyed children avoid direct eye contact, or they don't stare. So they kind of sort of look away. It's a bit weird. People often also describe feeling paralysed or frozen in terror during the encounter, as if some sort of invisible force inhibits their ability to respond or react normally. And then just finally, when they're refused entry, and after a sort of prolonged interaction, these children just seem to just vanish without a trace, leaving the witnesses shaken and confused.
It's mad because, when you say that they insist on entry, is it a case of they literally knock on your door and can we come in?
Yeah, well, I've got some examples that we'll move on to, which we'll explain. But essentially, yeah.
Because if you take the black eyes away from it, if a child knocks on your door and asks to come in and there's no parents around or anything, it's kind of very difficult to just say no and shut the door. Because then, little Timmy's gone missing. Who was the last person to saw him? Well, he knocked on my door and asked him to come in. I told him to fuck off.
Well, exactly. So why there's something else that people are kind of sitting right with them, so they're kind of going, I would normally, but this is just too weird.
Yeah,
it's just
black eyes.
And sometimes it's like a pair of them, so it's not just one kid.
Yeah.
It'd be like two of them. So I mean, if it's just one kid, I suppose it'd be like, well, come here, mate, is everything all right? If it's two, it's kind of like, is this kind of a prank, or am I going to get murdered or something?
You'd feel more comfortable turning two away, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There are some real life reported encounters that we're going to move on to now. So as I mentioned at the start, the black-eyed children, what's the word for it? Following, if you like, it's grown largely through first-hand accounts shared by witnesses through sort of internet forums and things like that. Right. Some of these following are the most notable real-life reports. So we've got the case of Brian Bethel, the Brian Bethel encounter in 1996, which we did touch on at the beginning. And this is one of the earliest and most influential reports. The chap was a journalist, so quite well respected, I guess. Journalists don't lie, do they? And he was driving home on a lonely southern Texan highway late at night. So this is, I think that's the other thing as well. It's late at night. What are these kids doing late at night? Mr. Bethel, Brian, recounted that two children, a boy and a girl, approached his car and knocked on the driver's side window. When he looked over, he was struck by their completely black eyes. They asked him to be let inside the car, saying that they needed a ride home. Bethel described a feeling of intense fear and unease. He said that there was a sensation that seemed to paralyze him. He said despite their polite tone, he refused to let them in and sped away. And then when he looked back into his rearview mirror, they seemed to have just vanished into the night.
Right.
And Brian went on to share this experience on online forums, and that sparked a wave of similar stories.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to. There are loads. You can sort of have a look yourself. If you type into Google, you'll come across quite a number of them. These are just. I've got three notable ones here. The second one here is the Maine gas station encounter, and this was in 2007. I mean, I was going to say, well, that wasn't that long ago, was it? But it was ages ago, 20 years. Yeah, doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, it's mental. When you were talking about the early 90s, and I'm going, yeah, that's quite fucking recent. It's not. 35 years ago.
So, yeah, there's the Maine gas. Maine is in the state of Maine. Is it?
All right, yeah, Stephen King country.
Yeah. So, in a separate case from Maine, a gas station attendant reported that a group of children with black eyes appeared near the pumps after midnight. The attendant described the children as silent and staring directly at him, their eyes unnervingly black and reflective. When asked if they needed help, the children merely pointed towards the restroom, and then they disappeared before any follow-up was possible. The attendant later felt a lingering fear and a sensation of being watched. This is a common aftermath. It's described by people who encounter these black-eyed children.
Wow.
And then just finally, the Florida porch incident. A homeowner in Florida told of an incident where a child appeared on their porch late at night, knocking and then asking to be let inside, claiming that there's been an emergency. The child's eyes again were completely black. The witness described feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and compulsion. Despite being told something was wrong, he just did not want to open the door at all. So he was actually behind the door looking through the peephole.
Yeah.
So after resisting the urge to open the door and let the child in, the child just vanished, completely gone. And the witness reported feeling unsettled for days. He then began researching this experience online, and that's when he came across these other stories and posted his story online as well. So yeah, pretty creepy.
Is there any? It's probably not relevant, but is there any? Can you have black eyes?
You can use. I don't know.
I know you can get like
contact lenses.
You can get contact lenses. I've met people very dark complexion that have got almost black eyes, but they're like a dark brown. You know?
Yeah.
Just wondering if there is. I'm not saying all these kids have got the same condition, but like, could you genuinely see someone with black eyes, or is this like it just doesn't happen?
I didn't look into it. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. I think it perhaps would have got pulled up in these stories. I mean, that's what we're going to do now is just look at what it possibly could be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people, will go, yeah, this is true. You know, I believe in every single word that's been said by these people. But then other people, skeptical people such as myself, might think, well, there might be other things that can contribute to these encounters and experiences. I suppose there's kind of like a couple of different perspectives you could look at it. There's a psychological perspective and a sociological perspective. Now, psychological explanations. So one explanation could be that it's like a type of sleep paralysis. So if you look at the first story, Brian Bethel, he was in his car, but he'd been on a long journey. Maybe he pulled over to the side of the road, fell asleep unknowingly, and had some sort of sleep paralysis episode. And these kids are here, and then he sort of snapped out of it, drove off, and then that's why they've disappeared. Because these encounters happen at night, it's a reasonable explanation. Again, the chap in the gas station. Well, I don't think there's much going on at a gas station late at night. A couple of drunk people at 3:00 maybe looking to get some booze. But what's to say he didn't just have a sneaky kip in the back? And and again, at this Florida incident, you're at home, sat there in the evening or late at night, as it said. Could have just fallen asleep. Got some sort of sleep paralysis. So that's one explanation as to what potentially is happening here.
Laura, my wife, she when I first met her, she suffered really bad from sleep paralysis, and she was like, "It is the most frightening, real thing."
I've heard it's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the hag. It's the hag, old woman that.
Yeah, I've never experienced it, thankfully, but apparently it is so frightening that it's like you just think it's real.
And Laura is one of these people that everything is bollocks. There's a real explanation for everything, but she was like, it's terrifying.
Yeah, you can't move either, can you? Just stuck there. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, because I don't know, because I've never experienced it, but I mean that's the common sleep paralysis, isn't it? You lay there in bed, you can't move, and then there's a figure in the room or watching you, and it comes, or is it a hag thing or whatever? But I suppose there must be variations of it where, like maybe a milder version where you sort of dreaming, but you're actually moving around, but you're actually asleep.
You don't necessarily have to be lying in your bed if you were even just leaning on a thing at a gas station.
Yeah. And you just kind of look up and there's kids everywhere. Yeah. So it's an explanation, at least. The other one, I suppose, in this is like pareidolia. You know what that is?
No.
Pareidolia is where you see shapes and faces and things that aren't really. Sometimes when you look at, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like rain on a window pane or something, you can see a face, but it's not. It's like a human thing. The human sort of naturally, the brain is designed to sort of interpret things as face or make faces out of things. I think it's kind of like
I actually follow a Facebook page called Things with Faces.
Yeah. So you'll see faces like you see things in clouds and stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
So an explanation is that maybe the kids don't have black eyes at all, and it's just kind of like you're just seeing that because of weird, the kids look a bit weird because your brain isn't functioning right. 'Cause it's late at night and it's dark and things like that. So you're seeing something that isn't quite there, but actually just normal kids.
Could be shadows as well.
Yeah.
Just the angle, the light's hitting them, their eyes look black.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Or maybe it's got the hood up, maybe, or something. I don't know. So that's another explanation potentially. And just it goes on here just to say like the anxiety and the sort of suggestibility just could be due to with the time of day, I guess. It's late at night, someone's knocking on your door, you think someone's knocking on your door or your car window. Well, you're going to feel a bit uneasy, aren't you? You're going to be a bit. This is a bit creepy.
We've talked about this recently on a couple of episodes, though. If you sit and watch Aliens in your living room, and you switch all the lights off to go up to bed, when you're halfway up the stairs and you turn back and look, guarantee you're going to see something that looks a little bit like an alien.
Or feel like there's something there, or...
Yeah, just a presence following you.
When you're at home on your own and you watch something like that, like a scary movie, I always find that if I do it, I have to have kind of like half an hour watching something that isn't scary.
Yeah, like detune.
So I'll finish the film and be like, right, okay, I'll watch something daft just for half an hour instead of... I mean, that's only when I'm on my own. If there's people here, I'm not bothered. So perhaps moving on to sociological factors. So black-eyed children have become like a modern urban legend. So they've evolved through sort of storytelling, internet forums, social media, and things like that. Now, whilst the reporting does seem to be consistent, they've got similar characteristics. There could have been some sort of snowball effect. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, basically. Just because one person, I mean, this original story could have been made up, and then from there, people have, because of the amount of traction that it's got, people could just go, yeah, I've seen them as well. Yeah, I saw them. So it could all just be like internet bullshit. There is a lot of these stories online, and it's difficult to unpick which ones are perhaps more believable than others. But nevertheless, we do live in the age where things like this, like creepypastas and things, do escalate and do snowball to such a degree where sometimes they get to a point where people go, do you know what? I think that might actually be real. So that's that's potentially what's happened here.
Do you remember the clown phenomenon? Like probably 5 years ago, people were seeing clowns in the woods and stuff like that. And
people used to dress up as clowns, though, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but I think it's one of those. Well, it's a chicken and an egg. I suppose there were probably a couple of people dressed up as clowns, and then people started to make up that they'd seen them in stage photos, and more people would then dress up and stuff like that. What I'm saying is how quickly it became like an internet thing.
Yeah, these things do happen. Like there's been quite a few. Isn't there? Slender Man was another one.
Yes,
that wasn't real, but it just blew up online to such a degree where people are like, yeah, it's real. It's just where people are weird, aren't they? I think when you sort of like things get drilled into you so much, eventually you just kind of go, yeah, so I believe some of that actually. So it's potentially,
when we were young, we were only afraid of the man that had the van and the puppies.
Yeah,
and that was to us when we were out and about as kids. It was someone's going to pull you into a car. That was the thing. But like nowadays, there's all sorts of shit for them to be scared of.
Yeah, on top of the being pulled into a car by a man.
Yeah. That's no.
That's why they don't go out.
No.
So they're the two sort of psychological and sociological factors that could contribute to what these things actually are. Other theories, we're going to look at sort of like the paranormal and supernatural theories.
Okay.
So this the first bit was the sensible people. And now we're going to look at what the weirdos think. Chicken. Some people think that they could be demonic or malevolent spirit entities, and that they've got some sort of like sinister motive. Like, why do they want to get into the house? Why do they want to get into the car? I don't think I've come across a story where anyone's actually let them in, which is quite weird.
Yeah, that's a point I was thinking, or I have been thinking the last 5-10 minutes. Is have they actually done anything?
Or maybe
like they came in and made a fucking mess with crayons or something.
Yes, shit on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you could argue to say, well, anyone who has let them in the past isn't around to tell the story.
True. Yeah, they vanished.
They vanished, or they've been murdered and dragged to hell or something.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose if you had a family member that had vanished, the last thing you'd want to tell people is the last time I saw him, he was letting a bunch of kids into his house.
He's messing about with a few kids.
Yeah, he's just going to keep that quiet, aren't you? He took a couple of young kids into his car and disappeared.
Yes, there you go. So, some people think they're demons or these evil spirits. That gives them the ability to disappear and things like that. Just simply because of their behavior and their motives or potential motives and things like that, and their eyes as well. They're very demonic eyes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Other people think they could be extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings. Some people suggest that black-eyed children slip between parallel realities, appearing to humans in fleeting moments. The black eyes might symbolize their non-human biology and ability to fully manifest in our dimension.
maybe they're aliens, but they come from a planet where they're quite small, so they can't. They have to put like children's skin on, but they still need their black
Still need
eyes
the
to be able
eyes.
to see things because they can't cover them up.
Yeah. So they could be aliens or interdimensional. They could come from another
Yeah,
dimension.
I mean, it's probably not, but
You never know, though. You never know. Yeah, that's. I think this is finally. Yes, some people say they're cryptids, like an unknown species.
right.
Just they are actually childlike, but they're not human. They're just sort of like another. I don't know. Wow, I don't know another way to say it. Like another species.
Yeah,
Like a Bigfoot, but child Bigfoot with black eyes.
little foot.
Little foot. Yeah, little foot. So yeah, so they're your three paranormal and supernatural theories that I came across. So we're nearly done now, I think. Yeah, not long to go.
Excellent.
So skepticism, So why black-eyed children have become popular in paranormal circles. Critical examination highlights numerous issues that challenge their existence as supernatural entities, particularly. Firstly, there's not really any evidence of these. All we've got, there's no physical evidence, no photographs, no videos, no credible witness documentations, apart from the people who've been on online forums saying, yeah, some kids knocked on my door last night. There's nothing actually conclusive that proves the existence of these children. We all know, as we've mentioned a few times on this episode, the internet can be a bit shit when it comes to reliability, and things can just be put on there. You can literally write anything on. Have you heard about this internet, Fraser? I know you're getting on a bit.
Yes, yeah.
You can literally write anything you want. Well, within reason. If you might want to watch the news over the past few days before you write anything you want, you might end up in prison. But supposedly, you can write anything you want on the internet, and some people might believe it. Now, because there's no evidence here, photographs or videos, it's possible that's happened here.
You'd think in the age of the Ring doorbell nowadays, if
You
these
think they'd
kids
be
are like knocking on people's doors,
you'd see something, yeah. That's a good point. Other criticisms, again, I think we discussed them in the sort of physiological and environmental factors. It could just be a trick of the light, or it could just be sleep paralysis and things like that. There could be other explanations as to why these people have seen kids with black eyes. And then just finally, I suppose it ties in with the first point. It could just be a massive hoax. This guy who's just gone, I know this will be funny, won't it? And it's just gone out of control, So potentially that's. What do you think? Do you think these are real things?
I think the truth's somewhere in the middle of the hoax and shadows and sleep paralysis. I think that probably someone's seen some weird kids that have had dark eyes and thought that was well creepy, told a story, and it's like grown legs from there.
Yeah, potentially. Or they've seen the story, and because they've heard it or read it, it's in their mind, and they've gone, those kids look a bit weird over there. Oh my God, their eyes are like, even though it's the middle of the night, I'll write my story and tell I've seen something as well. I think there's some truth in there.
Yeah. Whenever we talk about these things, though, I always go to the where's the profit, where's the advantage in telling the story, and no one seems to be claiming anything other than I saw these weird kids. They're not trying to sell books. They're not claiming that they were probed in a spaceship. They're not claiming anything other than this was really weird. And you tend to believe people a little bit more when they're not trying to get a gain out of it.
I think some people do just like chatting shit, though.
Yeah, they like attention.
Some people just like to put stuff online just some people like to trick people, basically, don't they?
So I'm talking maybe the original people, the first couple that were like, wow, this was a bit weird. And then, like you said, other people jump on the bandwagon. It grows legs, but they've not done anything. It's not like people have said, "Oh, I didn't let them in," and when I got up in the morning,
Eggs
my
all over
door
my
was
house.
all scratched. Yeah, like jobby to the letterbox.
There's a paper bag with some dog shit on the doorstep.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing. There's like, it's just a bit weird. It's almost. I mean, really, it's like a non-story, because if I saw some kids with like black eyes, if they knocked on my door and I opened them and they were a bit weird and creepy, I'd probably say no and I'd shut the door and I'd maybe tell my wife and I'd maybe tell you about it. But within about a week, I'd probably stop talking about it because nothing happened.
Maybe, but what do you? I don't know. Like, because it's creepy.
Yeah.
I think every now and then you go, "Oh, do you remember that creepy time when them kids turned up at the door and they were just a bit weird?"
Well,
It's like one of them things, isn't it? Like, when something weird happens, you kind of go, "Remember that? It was a bit weird, that, wasn't it?"
And all them kids turned up in that playground at like 4 a.m.
yeah. Robbing milk. So I don't know. I kind of like the idea of them. I think well, I don't. It's quite sinister, isn't it? But if something like this actually existed, it'd be pretty cool. But I think you're right. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle of people seeing things and they're getting sort of overhyped online and stuff.
Could they be the dead ghosts of children that are stuck in purgatory, that are just looking for someone, a grown up, to just be with them and let them in the house and look after them? Yeah.
Imagine if it was just some rich guy, and like he's just like, right, you kids, go and knock on that door, and if they let them in, they win 20 million quid. And it's just like some weird,
Mr.
no one's
Beast.
ever done. Yeah. It's like, oh no, these aren't coming in. It's like, oh, you just lost out. So that's pretty much it. So the Black-Eyed Children, it's pretty much a modern enigma. It's a fusion of folklore, psychological experience, and cultural myth. It still continues to captivate and unsettle people. Like I said, if you have a look online, if it's something that interests you, go and have a look online, because there's loads and loads of stories about this. They've not done a film about them yet, I don't think, which I'm quite surprised. These things usually follow some sort of film, don't they? Well, film usually follows these sort of things, rather. So I'm quite surprised there's nothing that's specifically about these. There might be. I don't.
Yeah.
I suppose. I suppose the story of the Black-Eyed Children, it's just a testament, really, to the power of the narrative of complex human psychology. It says here. I don't know about that. Maybe I think it's more to do with the power of the internet. I would say the power of people wanting to believe that these things, or I think we said at the very start, like
the internet, though.
I suppose, or the power of sort of like word of the mouth. Then, I think people want to be scared, don't they? Like, I think people like being scared, and kids are creepy. And I think when you combine those two things, it creates something like this, something like this. But I don't know. I wouldn't like to completely disbelieve it. It is quite far-fetched.
There's like one of the creepiest things is usually like the little dead singing girl, isn't it? In like ghost houses, the little girl is playing with Dolly and she's singing, but she's like a ghost.
Yeah, it's always the little kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
And and even the ones that aren't ghosts, like when they start talking to walls and stuff, or talking to things in the corner that nobody else can see. Like, oh, thank you, Freddie. So there's definitely like a creepy element to kids. And the black eye thing, I know the picture wasn't great, but you could see how it would be freaky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it. I hope there's some element of truth in it, because just it'd be cool if there was just this weird thing that we didn't know. That's pretty much it. That's the Black-Eyed Children.
Cool.
So thanks for listening.
Amazing. Thanks, James. Is that it? We done?
Oh, yeah, we're done for this week.
Until next week.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you soon. Take care.
All right. Did we do the like and follow and thing?
Yeah.
Do that now, can't we? Do it now.
Yeah, like us, follow us.
No, the little clicky thing, the button.
I've already clicked on end recording. Hang on.
Oh, yeah. You've ended the recording.
No, I've gone to the bit where I click end recording. There you go. Like and
There we
subscribe.
go. That's good. New toys. Got new toys.
Should we do that again?
No, that'll do.
So,
Cheers.
so is that it? Are we done for this week?
Oh, yeah, that's it. We've done this.
I know, but I want to do it with a like and subscribe.
I did it already.
All right, okay. All right, it's been the most dangerous podcast. We'll see you next week.
See ya.